The airport runway was loud, but also silent. Loud with shouting, silent with fear. A black private jet stood still in the middle of the runway. Its engines were off. Lights were flashing. Time was running out. Airport workers ran back and forth. Security men shouted orders. Phones kept ringing. "This jet must leave now," someone yelled. "Fix it or move it," another voice shouted. But nothing worked. Two engineers stood near the jet. They looked tired. Sweat covered their faces. One of them shook his head slowly. "It's not starting," he said. "We tried everything." The crowd grew angry. This was not a normal flight. This jet belonged to a powerful billionaire woman. She was already late. Very late. She stood a few steps away, calm but serious. She wore a dark coat and sunglasses. Her face showed no emotion, but her hands were tight. Every second mattered. If this jet did not leave now, important deals would fail. Millions of dollars would be lost. Security looked nervous. They didn't know what to do. Then something unexpected happened. From the side of the runway, a man slowly walked closer. He was black. His clothes were old. His shoes were dirty with oil. He carried a small tool bag. Not new. Not fancy. People noticed him. Some laughed quietly. Some whispered, "Who is that? Is he lost? He doesn't belong here." The man stopped a few feet from the jet. He looked at it carefully. He did not speak. He did not rush. His eyes moved over the engine, over the wings, over the ground. Security noticed him and walked fast. "Hey, stop right there," a guard shouted. "You can't be here." The man raised his hand slowly. He showed no fear. "I work here," he said softly. Security looked at his clothes and frowned. "This is not your job," the guard replied. The man said nothing. He turned his eyes back to the jet. At that moment, the billionaire woman noticed him. She watched from behind her sunglasses. Something about him felt different. He was calm. Too calm for this chaos. She stepped forward. "Who are you?" she asked. The man looked at her. His voice was low but clear. "My name is Marcus," he said. "I fix engines." People laughed louder now. One engineer crossed his arms. "You fix engines?" he said with a smile. "We already tried. This is serious." Marcus did not argue. He did not smile. He walked closer to the jet. Security blocked his path. "No more games," the guard said. "Step back." The billionaire woman raised her hand. "Wait," she said. Everyone stopped. She looked at Marcus. "You think you can fix it?" she asked. Marcus looked at the engine again. He listened. He leaned his head slightly, like he was hearing something others could not. "Yes," he said. The runway went quiet. "Yes," the engineer laughed. "This jet costs more than your life." Marcus looked at him calmly. "Engines don't care about money," he replied. The billionaire woman took off her sunglasses. For the first time, people saw her eyes. They were tired and curious. "How much time do you need?" she asked. Marcus thought for a moment. 10 minutes, he said. Gasps filled the air. 10 minutes? That's impossible. He's crazy. Security shook their heads. But the billionaire woman did something no one expected. She nodded. "You have 5, she said. Marcus did not thank her. He did not smile. He walked toward the jet. As he placed his hand on the engine, a loud alarm sounded. Red lights flashed again. People panicked. "Get him away from there," someone shouted. Smoke began to rise slowly from the engine. The billionaire woman took a step back. Security rushed forward. Marcus did not move. He stared at the engine. His face stayed calm. Very calm. Then he reached into his tool bag. The runway held its breath. The smoke rose higher from the engine. People stepped back. Security shouted again. "Get away from a jet." But Marcus did not move. He stood close, his eyes fixed on the engine. Not afraid. Not confused. He knew this sound. It was not a big problem. It was a small one hiding in a big machine. Marcus closed his eyes for 1 second. The noise around him faded. In his mind, he was not on a runway anymore. He was back in a small garage. Years ago, the garage was hot and dark. Oil smell filled the air. A younger Marcus stood beside his father. His father was also a mechanic. A quiet black man with rough hands. "Listen to the engine," his father used to say. "Don't just look. Listen." People laughed at his father too. They called him slow. They called him uneducated. But when engines failed, they always came back to him. "Engines talk," his father said. You must respect them. Marcus opened his eyes. The runway came back. The smoke was thin now. The engine was trying to breathe. Security moved closer again. Last warning, a guard shouted. The billionaire woman raised her hand. Give him 1 minute, she said. Her voice was calm, but inside she was not calm. She had trusted no one in years. Now she was trusting a stranger. Marcus reached into his tool bag. The bag was old. The zipper was broken. Inside were tools he had used for years. Some were rusted. Some were borrowed. He picked one tool carefully. An engineer laughed. That won't work. Marcus ignored him. He climbed onto a small ladder. He leaned close to the engine. His fingers touched the metal. It was warm. Too warm. Fuel line, Marcus whispered. He loosened a small part. Just a little. The smoke stopped for a second. Then it came back. Louder this time. People gasped. The billionaire woman took off her coat. Her heart was beating fast now. Marcus, she called out. Is it safe? Marcus did not look at her. Not yet, he said. The runway felt heavy. 5 minutes were almost gone. Marcus remembered another day. A rainy night. He was working late at the airport. No one else stayed. A plane had a small problem. Very small. Marcus fixed it alone. The next day, his boss took the credit. Marcus said nothing. He needed the job. He always stayed quiet. Not weak. Just tired. Back on the runway. Marcus tightened the part again. The engine coughed. Once. Twice. Then stopped. Complete silence. People held their breath. One engineer shook his head. It's dead, he said. Security moved forward fast. That's enough. The billionaire woman felt a drop in her stomach. She had hoped. She had believed. Marcus climbed down slowly. He wiped his hands on his pants. He looked at the engine one last time. Then he smiled. A small smile. No, he said quietly. It's not dead. People laughed again. Marcus raised his finger. Now, he said. Start it. The engineer hesitated. Start it, the billionaire woman ordered. The engineer pressed the button. The engine made a low sound. Then a stronger one. Then a loud, clean roar. The jet shook. Lights turned green. The runway exploded with noise. People shouted. Some clapped. Security froze. The engineers stared in shock. Marcus stepped back. He said nothing. The billionaire woman walked toward him slowly. Her eyes were wide now. You did it, she said. Marcus shook his head. No, he replied. The engine did. She looked at him closely. For the first time, she saw more than a mechanic. She saw strength, patience, respect. She took a deep breath. Come with me, she said. Marcus looked confused. Where, he asked. She pointed to the jet. Inside, the runway went silent again. The door of the private jet opened slowly. Cold air rushed out. Marcus stopped at the steps. He had never been inside a jet like this before. The floor was clean and shiny. The seats were wide and soft. Everything smelled new. People outside watched in silence. Security looked confused. Engineers looked angry. This was not how things were supposed to go. The billionaire woman turned and looked at Marcus. Come, she said again. Marcus took one step forward, then another. Each step felt heavy. He was used to standing outside, on the ground, in the shadows. Not here. Inside the jet, the door closed. The noise from the runway disappeared. Silence filled the space. Marcus stood still. He did not touch anything. The billionaire woman removed her glasses. She studied him. You are different, she said. Marcus said nothing. I've met many smart men, she continued. Many loud men. Many proud men. She paused. But you listen. Marcus looked at the floor. I just fix engines, he replied. She smiled slightly. No, she said. You understand them. She walked to a seat and sat down. Sit, she said. Marcus hesitated. Then slowly, he sat across from her. For a moment, neither spoke. The jet was ready to move, but she did not give the order. Outside, time waited. Where did you learn? She asked. Marcus thought. My father, he said. He fixed old machines. People didn't respect him. She nodded. They didn't respect me either, she said. Marcus looked up, surprised. She leaned back. When I was young, she said, I was invisible. No money. No power. She looked out the window. I promised myself I would never be weak again. Marcus listened. He always listened. You saved me today, she said softly. Not just my jet. Marcus shook his head. I did my job. She leaned forward. No, she said. You took a risk. You stepped where you were not invited. Her voice became serious. Do you know why I was in such a hurry? Marcus did not answer. She took a deep breath. Someone is trying to take everything from me, she said. My company, my name. Marcus felt the weight of her words. They wanted me to fail today, she continued. If this jet did not leave, I would lose. She looked straight at him. But you stopped that. The jet engines hummed quietly now. Ready. Marcus stood up. You should go, he said. You're late. She smiled again. Always thinking of others, she said. She pressed a button. The jet did not move. Marcus frowned. Why are we leaving? She stood up and walked toward him. Because, she said, I need to know something. She stopped close. Very close. Why didn't you ask for money? Marcus was silent. Everyone else would have asked. Demanded. Pushed. He did not. I don't like begging, he said. Her eyes softened. What do you want, Marcus? Marcus thought of his small apartment. His old car. His long nights. I want respect, he said. The jet shook slightly. The pilot's voice came through. Ma'am, we must leave now. She looked back at Marcus. Then at the door. Then back at him. She smiled. Respect, she repeated. She took off her ring from her finger. Marcus noticed it. His heart slowed. She held it in her hand. Not offering it. Just holding it. You remind me of someone, she said quietly. Myself, before the world changed me. She stepped back. Go, she said. Wait outside. Marcus nodded. He stood up and walked to the door. Before he stepped out, she spoke again. Marcus, she said. He turned. When I come back, she said, your life will not be the same. The door opened. Marcus stepped out. The jet doors closed. The engines roared. The jet moved forward. Marcus stood alone on the runway, holding his tool bag, watching the jet disappear into the sky. He did not know it yet, but a storm was coming. 3 days passed. Marcus went back to his normal life. Same early mornings. Same loud engines. Same dirty hands. No calls. No messages. The runway moment felt like a dream. Other workers laughed again. They called him lucky. Fixing one jet doesn't change your life, one man said. Marcus stayed quiet. He always stayed quiet. On the third day, the airport changed. Black cars arrived early in the morning. Men in suits walked fast. Security doubled. Workers whispered. Something big was coming. Marcus was under a small plane, fixing a wheel, when a loud voice called his name. Marcus Johnson. He froze. No one ever used his full name. He stood up slowly. A man in a sharp suit walked toward him. You are Marcus Johnson? The man asked. Yes, Marcus replied. You're needed inside. Now. Workers stopped working. Eyes followed him. Marcus wiped his hands. He followed the man. Inside the airport hall, cameras waited. Reporters. Lights. Microphones. Marcus stopped. His heart raced. What is this? He asked. Before anyone answered, a familiar voice spoke. Marcus. He turned. The billionaire woman walked forward. She wore white this time. Strong. Confident. People moved aside for her. She stood beside Marcus. This is the man, she said loudly. The man who saved my company. Cameras flashed. Marcus felt blind. Reporters shouted questions. Who is he? Is he your partner? Was this planned? Marcus did not speak. The billionaire woman raised her hand. 3 days ago, she said, my jet failed. Experts failed. Time was against me. She turned to Marcus. He did not fail. The crowd murmured. She looked at the reporters again. He was ignored. Mocked. Almost removed. Some engineers looked away. But he stayed calm, she continued. And because of him, I am still standing. She turned to Marcus. You deserve respect, she said. She handed him a small black card. Gasps filled the room. This gives you access to my company, she said. Anytime. Marcus held the card carefully. His hands shook. But not everyone clapped. Across the room, one engineer stared with hate. His name was Richard. He had worked there for years. He had degrees. Connections. But no one noticed him today. Richard stepped forward. This is a mistake, he said loudly. He is just a mechanic. Silence fell. The billionaire woman looked at him slowly. And you, she said, had every chance to fix my jet. Richard's face turned red. I demand an investigation, he said. She smiled coldly. You already had one, she replied. And you failed. People whispered. Richard stepped back. Marcus felt the weight of the room. He wanted to leave. He was not made for this. Later that day, Marcus returned to work. But nothing was normal. People stared. Some smiled. Some hated. His boss called him into the office. I don't want trouble, his boss said. Stay quiet. Marcus nodded. That night, Marcus went home. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. He answered. Marcus, the voice said. It was her. I need you, she said. Tomorrow morning. Why? Marcus asked. Because, she replied, someone is trying to destroy what we started. Marcus sat down slowly. What do you want me to do? He asked. She paused. Trust me, she said. The call ended. Marcus looked at his hands. They were still dirty with oil. But now, the world was watching. And not everyone wanted him to win. The city was quiet. Lights from tall buildings reflected on the wet road. Marcus stood outside a glass tower, holding his tool bag. He did not belong here. People inside wore clean suits. They moved fast. They looked important. Marcus felt small. A guard checked his name. You may enter, the guard said. The doors opened. The building was silent and cold. Marcus stepped inside. At the top floor, she was waiting. The billionaire woman stood near the window. City lights surrounded her. But her face looked tired. You came, she said softly. Marcus nodded. You said it was important. She turned around. It is, she replied. She poured 2 glasses of water. Not wine. Not luxury. Just water. She handed one to Marcus. Sit, she said. Marcus sat slowly. For a moment, neither spoke. Outside, the city breathed. They're coming for me, she said suddenly. Marcus looked up. Who? He asked. Men who smile, she replied. But want me gone. She walked slowly. They don't like how I run my company. They don't like control. Marcus listened. He always listened. They tried to stop me at the runway, she said. The jet failure was not an accident. Marcus froze. You mean, he started. Yes, she said. They planned it. Silence filled the room. Marcus felt anger rise. Why tell me? He asked. She looked at him. Because you were not part of their plan, she said. And you ruined it. She sat across from him. They are watching you now. Marcus felt a chill. I don't want trouble, he said. I know, she replied. That's why I trust you. She leaned back. I built walls all my life, she said. High walls. She touched the glass window. But you walked in without breaking anything. Marcus looked down. I'm just a mechanic. She shook her head. No, she said. You are honest. And that scares powerful people. She stood again. There's one thing I need, she said. What? Marcus asked. She took a deep breath. I need you to help me fix something, she said. Marcus nodded. What machine? He asked. She smiled sadly. My company, she said. She showed him files. Contracts. Hidden payments. Marcus did not understand everything. But he understood one thing. They were cheating her. They wanted to sign tomorrow, she said. If I do, I lose everything. Marcus thought. What do you want me to do? He asked. She looked into his eyes. Stand with me, she said. Marcus felt the weight. He had never stood beside power before. He stood up. I will help, he said. Her eyes softened. Thank you, she whispered. The lights suddenly went out. Darkness filled the room. Security alarms sounded. She gasped. What's happening? Marcus asked. Footsteps echoed outside. She moved closer to Marcus. They found us, she said. Marcus grabbed a heavy chair. Stay behind me, he said. The door handle moved. Slowly. Someone was trying to enter. Marcus's heart pounded. The door stopped. Silence again. Then a voice came through her phone. Sign the papers, the voice said. Or he gets hurt. Her hand shook. She looked at Marcus. Fear filled her eyes. Marcus stepped forward. No, he said quietly. We don't run. The city lights came back on. The alarm stopped. The phone went silent. She breathed deeply. She looked at Marcus. Tears filled her eyes. No one ever stood for me like that, she said. Marcus said nothing. He didn't need to. In that moment, something changed. Between them. Outside, a storm was building. And tomorrow, everything would be decided. Morning came fast. The storm from the night before had passed. But the air still felt heavy. Marcus stood outside the glass building again. This time, cameras were already there. Reporters. Security. Black cars. Something big was about to happen. Inside, The billionaire woman prepared for war. She wore a simple dark suit. No utility. No ismite. Marcus stood beside her. Not behind. Beside. That alone shocked people. In a large meeting hall, powerful men waited. Clean faces. Cold eyes. Richard was there too. He smiled when he saw Marcus. A fake smile. The meeting began. One man spoke calmly. "We are here to protect the company," he said. The billionaire woman listened. Then she stood up. "No," she said. "You are here to take it." The room went silent. She pressed a button. Screens lit up. Emails. Messages. Hidden plans. Gasps filled the room. Faces changed color. "These men planned the jet failure," she said. "They planned my fall." Richard stood up fast. "This is a lie," he shouted. She turned to him. "You signed the order," she said calmly. Security moved. Richard tried to speak again. They took him away. Reporters outside exploded with noise. Inside, truth stood tall. The billionaire woman took a deep breath. "I will not sign," she said, "and I will not step down." The men looked defeated. The meeting ended. Outside, reporters rushed forward. Questions flew. "Who helped you? How did you survive?" She looked at Marcus. She took his hand. "This man," she said. He stood when others hid. Cameras flashed wildly. Marcus felt his heart race. He did not pull his hand away. Later that day, the airport runway was quiet again. The same place where it all began. The jet stood ready. But this time, no rush. The billionaire woman and Marcus stood alone. She looked at him. "You could walk away," she said. "No one would blame you." Marcus shook his head. "I don't run," he replied. She smiled. For the first time, truly smiled. "You fixed my jet," she said. "You fixed my company." She paused. "And you fixed something in me." Marcus felt the moment slow. She reached into her pocket, pulled out a small box. Marcus froze. She opened it. Inside was a ring. Simple, clean, honest. People watched from far away. Security. Workers. Engineers. No one spoke. She dropped to one knee. Gasps filled the runway. "Marcus," she said, "I have power. Money. Everything." Her voice shook. "But I never had peace." She looked up at him. "You gave me respect without asking." Tears filled her eyes. "Will you stand with me?" she asked. "Not as a mechanic. Not as a worker." She swallowed. "But as my partner." The world stopped. Marcus looked at her. He thought of his father. The garage. The silence. He thought of respect. He opened his mouth. The runway was silent. No engines. No voices. Only the sound of the wind. Marcus stood still. In front of him, the billionaire woman knelt on one knee. The ring waited in her open hand. Every eye was on him. Workers. Security. Engineers who once laughed. Time felt slow. Marcus looked down at her. He did not see money. He did not see power. He saw truth. He remembered his father's words. "Respect is louder than noise." Marcus took a deep breath. He spoke calmly. "I don't want your money," he said. People whispered. "I don't want your company," he continued. The billionaire woman's eyes filled with tears. Marcus bent down slowly. "I want honesty," he said. "I want respect. I want to stand beside you, not behind you." She nodded again and again. "Yes," she whispered. "Yes." Marcus smiled softly. "Then yes," he said. The runway exploded. People clapped. Some cried. Some stood in shock. The billionaire woman stood up, shaking. She placed a ring on his finger. Not because she owned him, but because she chose him. Later that day, news spread everywhere. Billionaire proposes to airport mechanic. The man who saved more than a jet. But Marcus stayed the same. He returned to the garage the next morning. Same clothes. Same tools. Workers stared. One man laughed nervously. "So you rich now?" Marcus smiled. "I was always rich," he replied. "I just didn't have money." A week later, the billionaire woman returned to the airport. This time, not in a rush. She stood beside Marcus as he worked. No cameras. No guards. Just two people. She announced a new program. Fair pay. Training for young workers. Respect for labor. She fired those who cheated. She promoted those who worked quietly. Richard was gone. Justice stayed. Months passed. Marcus never forgot where he came from. He built a small workshop near the airport. He trained young mechanics. Kids who were ignored. Kids who were judged. He taught them one thing first. Listen, he said. Engines talk. So do people. The billionaire woman watched him one day. She smiled. You changed my world, she said. Marcus shook his head. No, he replied. We changed it. On their wedding day, there was no gold palace. Just a small open place near the runway. The same runway. The jet stood behind them. Silent. Witness. Marcus wore a simple suit. She wore white. When they exchanged vows, Marcus spoke clearly. I promise respect, he said, even when the world is loud. She answered softly. I promise honesty, she said, even when power tempts me. The jet engines started in the distance. Not for escape, but for a new journey. As the sun set, Marcus looked at the runway one last time. The place where he was mocked, ignored, almost removed. Now it was the place where his life began. Final moral, black voice style. Never judge a man by his clothes. Never silence the quiet one. Because greatness often speaks softly. The end.